Did you have a clarifying question?
Yeah, I do.
Clarifying question?
I do, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I do have a clarifying question, and it's a real easy one for you.
A clarifying question.
Yeah. What is, you say you did bioremediation and you put bacteria in the ground, thanks, Samara. You put bacteria in the ground in some form or fashion. What is the name of the bacteria you used?
So the type of bacteria is called D. halococoides.
Is that in here?
It's not in there,
Okay, could you spell it?
no. But you, if you want to ask me afterwards, I can.
I can. It's HELICOIDES.
Okay.
What does the D stand for?
Well, the reason this bacteria is special is because it does what we call dechlorinating. So PCE is a chlorinated solvent. It's basically an ethane molecule or an ethene molecule that has 4 chlorines on it. So what this does is while the bacteria grows, it uses the molecule as an electron source, and it actually takes the electrons and, well, it actually gives it an electron. So it basically, the chlorine comes off. So that's why you have PCE has 4 chlorines. And the D halococoides, the D is for dechlorinating. It takes a chlorine off, and then it becomes another contaminant. And then it takes another chlorine off, and then it becomes another, and then eventually all the chlorines are gone and you have ethene and ethane.
Okay, P.S. I spelled it wrong. I left the CO out of the middle, so check that. No, I have another question. Another question that's based on this series. You were talking on the van about these bacteria eat it and they excrete it. And so I'm wondering where that's what he said on the van.
Continue with your question. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so where do the excretions go after it's excreted?
Well, it's a
So I don't know exactly what you mean by excreting it, but
Well, stuff comes
That was
out.
my way of
basically-
explaining that the nutrients go in, they digest the nutrients, and then they
so
break
what
down.
it's a chemical reaction.
I'm
So
laughing, but
you
I'm
have
curious.
the contaminant, and what you do is you eventually, at the end of the day, you're going to create ethene and chloride. Both of those are not toxic.
And what about
And that
the
remains.
excretion?
Well, ethane will evaporate eventually.
It'll evaporate out of the groundwater into the air? Is that what you're saying?
Eventually.
Because what we're talking about is contaminants.
Well, it's not a contaminant
At
anymore.
that stage, it's not a contaminant.
Contaminant, correct.
That's the end stage. How many years does it take? How many years
Thank
did
you.
it take?
Thank you, Andrea. That's important.
Well, this took, we did this for about 9 years.
9? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
For about 9 years. But the reason it took that long is because we did it in a series of phases. So each time we only did treatment for about 3 months because it wasn't a cleanup. We were trying to find information. So we changed some variables. So that's why it seems like it took a long time, but probably the total treatment time was about 9 months. I believe we're anticipating that the continued cleanup for the remaining groundwater is going to take about 6 months.
So it'll be 100% gone?
That is our goal, yes.
And are you using the same bacteria on the second go-around?
That's going to be determined when we do what's called a remedial design. So after we sign our record of decision, we basically do a design of our remedy, and at that point, that's when we choose all these details, like what kind of bacteria are we going to use, what kind of nutrients are we going to use, where are we going to excavate, all those questions.
And will the public know about this, and will it be part of there will be the public's ability to sign off on that or comment on that part?
Well, we have a restoration advisory board, so the restoration advisory board will be involved.
So that will involve public comment?
Yes.
Yes, we have
Okay.
meetings every other month.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we should go to official comments. What do you think?
I just have one more question about the no evidence of radiological. When was the last time you tested, and what year's standards were you using to test by, and what equipment?
Okay. Do you want to talk a little bit about about lot 69 and buildings you're putting to?
Lot 69 has not been tested, and the other buildings were basically closed down according to the standards when the various schools ended, about the time when I think the base shut down, so probably the late 90s.
Okay, thank you.
So that was the last time it was tested for radiological materials?
When the schools were actually shut down, yes, they're shut down according to the protocol of the day, yes.
Yeah.
Protocol of the day.
Okay,